Welcome, race fans. It's Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and tonight we're here on a Tuesday night for the Full Sin Racing Series. And that's right, we're going to be here at one of the toughest tracks out there. It's going to be the Rockingham Speedway for the party at the Rock 160, presented by Campbell Racing on YouTube. And tonight is going to be a wild one, to say the least. My name is Zach Hall. With me tonight is Trevor Earhart. Trevor, it's going to be a wild night up here. Rockingham, one of your favorite tracks, man. How do you feel it's going to play out here tonight?
I think we're going to see a lot of good racing tonight. It's going to be fun. These cars are going to be slipping and sliding around. That wall is going to be a menace tonight, Zach, but I think we're going to be on for a good show tonight.
I think you're very right about that, Trevor. As we head into this qualifying session, these drivers are going to have 5 minutes to put down their fastest times available and to see where they'll be able to start tonight's 160 laps. So it's going to be interesting. I think starting up front should be an important part of this race because, tires, I think, will be the number one probably topic we talk about most of the night here, Trevor.
Yeah, tire wear is always a big thing when you come to Rockingham. Track position is going to be so key. Passing here can be tough at times, especially with how tight the corners get on exit. But we'll see how this plays out as qualifying is underway.
With this drivers out here trying to put down their fastest time so far is Chris Stitz at the moment. Hold on to that top position. And last week, he started from the pole position at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So trying to do a similar feat here so far through the first 2 minutes. But man, oh man, they even got Mid-Ohio coming up next week. It's a tough part of the schedule right now, I think, Trevor.
Yeah, tough part. You go from short tracks to, we went to Indianapolis last week. The Stitz had some great speed there. Cole Sacchetti, Tatum, all those guys showed great speed. Of course, you getting the win last week, and then off to the tight mile track that is Rockingham, and then next week at the road course. It's been an interesting 4 weeks here for these guys. A lot of variety in racetracks. It's been a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely fun to see for sure. And tonight, I think it's going to be one of those tougher tests, no doubt, is this track always so bumpy, so technical, and really almost similar to Darlington, where you got two different sides of the racetrack. They kind of race completely different, in my opinion.
Yeah, turns 1 and 2. You can run the outside line. You can run the bottom. It tightens up really bad. Turn 3 and 4 kind of widens out. Wider turn. And again, multiple lines that you can run there. And it's going to come down to what drivers feel comfortable with, what they think can save them the most tires. We'll see some guys running up near the wall with a high entry and a low arc, and some guys running the yellow line. So it's going to be really fun to see how these drivers tackle this track tonight.
And it looks like here through the first 2 minutes, through the first 3 minutes here, eclipse of this qualifying session, it looks like Cameron Sarton going to be on top of the board so far. So he was able to take that time by 0.02 of a second over Chris Stitz in the 22. So Sarton looking to start off strong here tonight at the Rockingham Speedway, but we got about still a minute left. 2 drivers yet to put in time, Brian Burchett and John Dart. With 21 cars out here tonight, we got a stage coming up at lap 50. It should be an interesting start, and that's one of the things I think these drivers need to use that first 50 laps, Trevor, to kind of figure out how this track is going to play out through the rest of the night.
Yeah, just take those first 50 laps before the stage, figure out what the car is going to do. It's going to go through some changes, especially as we get some more rubber on the track. It heats up a little bit. It's probably going to go from loose to tight, but hopefully these guys settle down a little bit, click off some laps, figure out these cars, and then after the stage break, we can get some real good racing in.
That I think we will, man. Well, we're going to see here if anybody can top that timing sheet, but I don't think anybody out there still yet to put any cars on the racetrack. So I believe Cameron's starting here with about 30 seconds left. Nobody's going to be out there on the racing surface, so he should be able to hold on to this pole position, and that is going to be a huge moment for him to start up front here at one of the toughest tracks on the schedule, and he'll be looking to get himself another victory in the victory column here as we head towards those playoffs, and that'll be a big thing for him as he's trying to build up those playoff points. But final few seconds click away here for qualifying, and man, we're going to get to see who is going to start themselves up front here tonight at the Full Sin Racing Series for the Rockingham Speedway. There it is. The time is officially clicked away, and we're going to look to pull up our starting grid here tonight for the Rockingham Speedway. It was a very tight qualifying session, but that 24 machine of Cameron Sarton was able to pull it off in a last-ditch effort there to get the top time. And there it is. There is our results for our qualifying session. Sarton up top, like I said. Stitz just 2,000ths of a second behind in the second position. Third is going to go to Brandon Pierce. Fourth is going to be the 94, Joshua Altice. Fifth is going to be Cole Sacchetti. Sixth is going to go to Ross Tatum. Seventh is going to be the 96 of Zachary Peterson. Eighth is going to go to Aaron Hill. Ninth is going to be Robert Sherwood. And rounding out our top 10 is going to be the 15 of Ken Campbell.
Travis Starr will roll off 11th with Will Bustler in 12th, Philip Chavez 13th, Sam Siegel in 14th, Bo Tiffany 15th, Doug Pierce 16th, Andrew Medlin 17th, Christopher Wade 18th, 19th and 20th will be Ryan Lynch and John Dart. And rounding out the field will be Brian Burchett 21st.
And it will be our 21 cars here tonight for the Full Sin Racing Series. And what a race we have underneath us here. It's going to be 50 laps to that first stage. As the drivers start to grid up, the nervous tensions start to build. But here's starting off, Trevor, what do you think the game plan for most of these drivers should be? I mean, 50 laps here, it feels like a long distance personally is like in behind the wheel, but, you can click off some pretty quick lap times here at Rockingham, and those 50 laps will go away very quickly.
Yeah, about 24.7 seconds for a lap. They'll go by pretty quick if we stay caution free. And I think for a lot of these drivers, if you're in the back, I think that it's going to be attack mode, try to get the track position, try to get up front, get those stage points. But for the guys up front, maybe save some tires, not wear it out so quickly, and avoid getting into the wall as much as possible.
Yeah, I think you brought that up there at the end, the best part. Avoid getting into the wall. Where do you feel like those real points on the track that the driver's going to watch out for? Because I feel like there's a few spots that stand out here at Rockingham that can kind of be the spots that get you in the most trouble.
The exit of turn 2 for me is the biggest one. Because you feel like you can carry so much speed out of the corner of turn 2, but it tightens up so much, and that wall just comes at you out of nowhere, especially late in the run when the tires get worn out, your car gets a little tight. So that's going to be one point. The biggest point of focus is going to be the exit of turn 2. And turn 4 can be pretty sneaky. Car gets a little loose over all the bumps coming out of the 3 and 4, and so you can get a little loose and drift up into the wall if you're not too careful. But I think 1 and 2 is where we're going to see a lot of the action here tonight.
I think I agree with you too, Trevor. That 1 and 2 corner, always a treacherous spot exiting down there towards Thunder Alley. So we'll see who can kick it off here the night at the Rock and start off well. Who's going to have some trouble? Who's going to burn their tires up? There's plenty of questions still to be asked out there. But thank you all for tuning in. This is Freaky Fast broadcasting in the Full Sin Racing Series. As it's Zach Call up here with Trevor Earhart and Robert Moyer Jr. running productions. We're about to have a wild night of racing here at the Rockingham Speedway. As the pace car pulls to the left down to pit road, we'll be looking up to the flag stand, and there it is, green flag, and we are underway here for 160 laps here tonight at Rockingham. And look at that, already the tires being burnt by the wheel spin off the restart.
Yeah, Peterson there in 4th position, got a lot of wheel spin off the restart there, got a little loose, got it saved, and Stitz trying to make a move on the 24. Sarton almost gets into the outside wall, has to check up, but here comes Cole Sacchetti trying to clear 38 for 3rd.
Immediately, drivers trying to take positions here, and it's a battle out for the lead off of turn number 4 for the first lap. It looks like that first lap going to go to the 22 of Chris Stitz, as the run out of turn 4 was too much for that 24 machine. Is now starting going to have to slide back into the second position. Now Pearson at 38, he's looking for a run down the Thunder Alley back straightaway.
Yeah, we can already see the difference in lines there. Sarton kind of running the bottom, Stitz running the outside wall, and the 38 of Pierce just kind of following in line, trying to figure out where he wants to do. But Stitz now slowly starting to pull away that 22 machine over the 24.
And he is looking to open up the gap here to start off this race. Similar position to where he was last week at Indianapolis. Started out front, led the opening laps of that race. Let's see how tonight plays out for himself in that 22 machine here at Rockingham. But we're riding on board with Altice here in this 94. Very much right now a good sizable portion back here already with the gap up ahead of him. But I think this could be a little bit of strategy here already playing out with a few drivers looking to maybe conserve some time.
Yeah, Altice a little shaky on that start, with the wheel spin, but kind of settling in now, figuring out what he's got underneath him in that 94 machine, trying to catch up to the 42 of Cole Sacchetti as they battle in front of him. But a little bit of a gap, like you said, just kind of riding around right now early on.
That we are. And we're looking to Ross Tatum right now in the 11 machine. Definitely one of the top contenders here at the Full Sin Racing Series. As you look back here farther in the pack, King Campbell going to go to the inside. He'll make the pass on Aaron Hill in the 4 machine. Now Will Bustler in the 36. He's going to dive to the inside, down the back straight away here. And now look at this. Also the 29 of Bo Tiffany. He's looking to maybe take advantage of this also as Hill up the racetrack. Now losing time.
Yeah, Bo Tiffany there gets clear. The 12 of Andrew Medlin's there. Chavez and the 101 and Zachary Peterson all lined up here trying to find a way around the 4 of Aaron Hill as he kind of starts to fall back here early on in the going.
Yeah, Aaron Hill dropping back for sure. And maybe this a little bit, again, that strategy we talked about of saving some tires. So maybe that's what the 4 is looking to possibly do, preserve the tires that he needs for the rest of this race. But I tell you what, the driver that we've been kind of watching make a lot of big moves back through the field is the 96 of Zachary Peterson. He started technically in the 7th position, but he had a penalty from last week where he had to drop to the rear of the field, start from the rear, and he's already made up at least 6 spots from starting back there and is really starting to charge up through. But the question is too much tire usage being taken out of the life of that 96.
Yeah, we'll have to see as this run continues, if he continues to make ground forward or if he starts to fade back. But had great speed in practice, good qualifying run, just with the penalty he had to start in the back of the field. But looking now to follow the 12 of Andrew Medlin as Medlin dives into the bottom of the 4 of Aaron Hale in turn number 1.
Diving down, like you said, down to that inside, and Aaron Hill losing 4 positions is now. He's going to have another driver, that 96 is Zachary Peterson, looking to the inside as Medlin has got by. Peterson now also by. Definitely Aaron Hill in this 4, definitely being on the more conservative side of things. We'll see, though. This is going to be interesting to see if this run continues on to that lap 50 stage point. Does it come back around for the 4? Or, does it kind of, because it's, in my opinion, as a driver, it's very easy to save too much sometimes.
Yeah, it's a very fine line between being able to save enough tire and be close enough to make a move at the end of a stage or at the end of a run versus, saving a lot of too much tire, like you said, and then falling too far back for it to be, worthwhile. And for Aaron, he's got to find that balance here tonight. If he's oversaved already or if he's just on track, we'll have to wait and see as this run continues, as the 4 makes a move up through the field as we get closer to the end of the stage.
Definitely edging closer there as we got 10 laps already in the books, but back here the battle rages on. Philip Chavez in a 101 looks to take the position from Ryan Lynch. It looks like he'll slide up in front of him off of turn 4 and hold on to that spot, but definitely close moments there exiting off of 4. But so far through these first 10 laps, everybody keeping it nice and clean and definitely doing the best job there to keep the cars in groove. But one thing also I think of note, down there in turn 1, it's very easy to go on that apron there in turn 1.
Yeah, it's very easy as we got one spin. It's Bo Tiffany in the 29.
Oh, and it looks like Christopher Wade is the 53 who comes in late, gets a late hit from it. But like you said, Bo Tiffany goes around. First caution of the night out on the Speedway here for the Full Sin Racing Series. And just like that, for Bo Tiffany, a driver who was just outside the cut line in points for making the playoffs, this is not what the 29 wants to see for himself, as we'll see here in this instant replay exactly what all went down. Looking to the inside here, the 36 of Will Bustler. Maybe some contact being made between the 2 on entry. Just very tight racing going down into the entry. And right there, the 29 just going around.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a little bit of contact made with the 36 of Will Bustler. Turn 3 here, really bumpy. So I don't know if that also upset the 29 car, but just overcorrects a little bit. Hard contact into the outside wall. And then as he slides back down the racetrack, nowhere for Christopher Wade in the 53 to go, as he was already committed to the bottom line. And Tiffany just kind of drifts down into him there.
Yeah, it's such a tough break for Christopher Wade there. Like you said, really nowhere to go. I mean, he was down on the apron looking to get by that, but the 29 had the brakes locked up too, it seemed, and just it slid down the banking and right in front of him. Just a no place or nowhere to go. Just at the wrong timing there for Christopher Wade. So tough break there for those 2 drivers, but we'll see how they can make work of that damage here. Because remember, no fast repairs here at the Full Sin Racing Series, so that right there is gonna hurt them for the rest of the race. And at Rockingham, it's still high enough speed where I feel like having those damage on the fenders and that nose is gonna hurt that 29 machine.
Yeah, having the damage here, it's not like other quote unquote short tracks. Having the aerodynamics is important, but the biggest thing, you want to make sure you don't have any engine damage. And I think with how hard Tiffany hit that outside wall, he might have a little bit of engine damage. I think Wade might be a little bit in better shape because it was kind of a glancing blow for the 53, but we'll have to to see once we get restarted how much damage the 53 really has is when we get back up to speed, we'll check it out.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that does affect him there, Trevor. But right now, with this caution, Chris Stitt still holding on to the lead. Cameron Sarton in that second position after starting from the pole. Has not got a time yet to lead a lap here. But it looks like we should be hopefully getting the lights off on the pace car here for a 1 to green. It looks like Stitz, too. He's going to take the outside line here. So I think he may have seen what happened there on that initial restart of this race and said, you know what? I like this outer groove for starting, and it kind of makes sense, Trevor. Down into 1 and 2, it's very tough when you have someone on your board.
Yeah, it's very hard. If you're on the bottom, it's really hard. You can get pinched down there, can't get into the throttle, can't get the exit off, kills your momentum. I think on the restarts, you know, having that outside line or being in that outside line, you get the advantage of being able to keep your momentum up a little bit better than the guys on the bottom. So for Stitz, after his great start of the race, I think it's a good move on his part to take the outside line here.
Completely agree with you there, man. I think this is going to be a good call from the 22 side, but we'll see how it all shakes out. But the pace car should be looking to come in this next time right here as they exit out of 4, and we'll see, can that outside lane once again get a good restart. And you know, nobody having hit pit road here up front in this field. Nobody looked in to waste a set of tires yet. We should watch here, folks. Watch for the wheel spin here as the pace car does get down the pit road. Stitz is going to have control of the field, and look at that. Just as he jumps in the gas and the green flag waves, the rear end lights up, and just like that, it's side by side heading down into 1.
Yeah, the wheel spin there for the 22. However, going to have that momentum off of turn number 2. Clears the 24. That's also going to bring the 42 of Sacchetti around the 24 of Cameron Sarton. So Sarton not only losing a chance to fight for the lead, but loses second place as well, falls back to 3rd.
Tough break for a pole setter. There's now that 42 is Sacchetti looking to move his way forward and possibly look to get his 3rd victory of the season. You know, only driver with, there's 2 drivers with multiple victories there, Ross Tatum and Sacchetti. But Sacchetti wants to break out of there and get that 3rd one here tonight at Rockingham as he looks to close in on that 22 up ahead.
Yeah, looking good early on, made a couple of aggressive moves on the initial start. Really good move there on this restart. So now he's going to try to chase down the 22 of Chris Stitz here. These next couple of laps, we'll have to see if the 42 has anything for Stitz.
In this early portion of this run, we'll see who saved a little bit of tire from that first start here after that caution to see if anybody pushes a little bit harder that did save. But right now, Stitz still looking very strong out front. You know, when you take the lead at Rockingham and you start to try to open up a little bit of gap, people will get a little bit concerned. But I think that 22 has done a good job so far of managing his stuff out front. But we look farther back through the field, it looks like some drivers starting to make their way up through. It's that 6 of Travis Dart there. He's made up 2 spots from his 11th starting spot.
And Dart, not a driver we talk about a lot, you know, in races, but doing a really good job here tonight. Moving slowly up inside the top 10 right now. Trying to find a way to catch up to the 36 of Will Bustler, but for the 6 machine, having a really good run early on here.
Definitely having a great start to this race for that 6 machine. And we'll have King Campbell right in tow in the 15. They also have Will Bustler, like I said, right up ahead in the 36. Then Ross Tatum, he'll be looking up ahead to Joshua Altus for that top 6 position as Sherwood in the 2's really been going on the charge, but Peterson continues his charge. So many drivers just doing all types of different moves and making their way through and showing that maybe tire wear is, you know, not as big of a concern. We'll have to see because, you know, only 21 laps into this race, we did have that one caution that kind of brought this to a halt. So those tires may have got a little bit of cooling down period to help bring them back to life.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Typically, when you come here, you always think tire wear, but with how hard some of these guys are running, moving up through the field, might not be that big of a deal tonight. Like you said, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But so far, looks like these guys can really push these tires and make some ground up.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like that's the case for sure. Is this 96 still trying to hold on to that spot there? But the 12 of Medlin, he was looking to maybe get the run back around the outside as the 96 was able to get the job done. But Medlin definitely not giving up on the spot right here. So great racing between these two. But I'll tell you what, it's looking like Medlin wants that position back more and more as he's looking to the inside.
Yeah, Medlin looks a little bit faster. He's going to go to the outside here. The 96 of Peterson goes all the way to the bottom. Medlin not quite able to get alongside him, but Will should have a good run down the backstretch here. We'll see what he does here in the turn 3.
See, he goes up the racetrack here, and this is the beauty of Rockingham here, the multi-grooves. trying to work the speed and see who can produce the biggest run. But now Medlin on the quarter panel here, heading down the 1. He'll have the preferred position here down into 1 and 2. And I think this time here may be his chance to finally get this move to stick. And off of 2, you'll see it riding on board with Medlin in the 12. He gets it done.
Yeah, Medlin gets it around Peterson. Peterson caught the apron a little bit out of turn number 2, had to check up so the car didn't just shove up the racetrack. Something that you touched on, Zach. It's easy to hit that apron out of 2, and when you hit that apron, it just shoots the car up the track. So good job by Peterson there backing out, but it's going to cost him a spot to Andrew Medlin as Medlin now tries to chase after the 15 and Ken Campbell.
Yeah, it's always so interesting at this racetrack. I feel like at 1 and 2, you try to run so far low down the racetrack to get away from that wall at the exit of 2 that sometimes you'll get a little bit too much. Get that left front on that apron and a little bit of that yellow curbing there, and it'll definitely upset that race car. Sometimes sitting it up the racetrack, even sometimes making it a little bit loose. So it can do multiple different things, but Medlin looking strong here as he's starting to close in. Looks like on Ken Campbell here. So maybe Medlin's starting to find a little something here early into this race, and he started in 17th. So right now, our biggest mover of this race.
Medlin doing a great job driving through the field, already up to 11th, looking to get inside the top 10 in a 12 machine. And he's shown a lot of speed the last couple of weeks in that 12 car, so good to see him move his way up through the field here as battling continues in front of him. Alex is trying to get around the 2 of Rob Sherwood, and right behind him, Ross Tatum in the 11, just kind of holding steady, waiting to see who he needs to go with here.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point there because Sherwood here, he's drove his way up from 9th up to 5th. I think maybe used a little more tire here as he's right in front of Altice, but Tatum kind of waiting, like you said, just to figure out who's going to be the one to go for here in the end scheme of things. And while this battle heats up, so does the lead. Sacchetti, that 42 machine, he's starting to put the pressure on the 22 up front. Now going to look to the inside here, heading down to 3, but Stitz, he's kind of had a little bit of a lane off the bottom line here in 3 and 4, as that time he kind of cuts back down in front of the 42, I think, to take that airway, but definitely different lines between these top 2.
Yeah, Stitz kind of running a defensive line in 3 and 4, but going back to his preferred line kind of at the top of the racetrack in 1 and 2. Sacchetti running the kind of the bottom line there, and for Stitz just trying to hold that 42 back, but that 22 car looks a little loose off the corners there. Might have abused that right rear tire a little bit.
That's what we heard from a few drivers coming in here tonight. The right rear tire was the tire that was going to be the worst off, and that condition really is going to probably be the worst out of turn 2. And right now, Sacchetti going to have this outer groove, get side by side. I think this is going to be an easy, clean pass for the 42 right around the outside, and they'll be able to take the lead heading down the Thunder Alley.
Sacchetti makes that pass look really easy out of turn number 2 on the outside of Chris Stitz there, and Stitz just looks a little uncomfortable. The car looks a little loose right now for the 22 machine. And Chris Sacchetti just starting to slowly pull away now from the 42, and they've kind of pulled a gap to the 24 of Cameron Sarton, but Sarton, I think, starting to finally close back in on these guys.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested in Cameron Sarton here, you know, on that pole position, but just didn't show the takeoff speed that maybe that 24 wanted to have, but I think this may come back around. You know, we are past halfway for this stage as we complete lap 31 as we near that lap 50 stage, but still plenty of time for Sarton to close in within a second of our leader, Cole Sacchetti. The big thing for him here, in my opinion, Trevor, is he can't get held up by this 22 trying to get around him.
No, can't get held up by the 22 and Stitz, and he is closing in on our leaders. Closing in on Stitz here should be, I would think, in the next lap or 2, really applying the pressure to the rear end of Chris Stitz. And he looks like he's got some speed here, Zach, in that 24 machine. Looks like he might have timed that perfectly on the saving tires.
Yeah, right there, faster than both of our top 2 drivers was that 24 machine. So we'll see, can he start to produce even more pace than what he's had so far to be able to try to get around this 22. And, you know, if he can do something similar to Sacchetti, get to the outside of this 22, that'll make it much easier. You know, he is faster than this 22, but making the pass on the bottom always makes it much tougher, and I think Chris Stitz is going to try to make him go to that bottom line.
Yeah, Stitz rolls up to the middle of the racetrack here, kind of blocks the line from Sarton. Sarton dives it to the bottom, trying to get the run off the corner. Not quite going to get there. Down the backstretch, both cars kind of wiggling around as they go off into 3. It looks like Sarton's just going to decide to stay in line right here for right now.
Yeah, trying to figure out how he's going to make this pass stick, and right here he's got enough of a run here possibly to look down into turn 1, but he's going to back out here. let the 22 driving a little bit deeper here and try to get this run down the back straightaway. Here it comes. Cuts down low, gets to the bottom. Stitz didn't get there. This is going to be a big run from the 24. Don't know if he's going to be able to dive it to the inside. Gets to the bumper, but isn't able to get fully there. But look at this. Great move. I think that is the way to go. Goes to the top side, and if he can keep on the quarter panel like he does here out of 4, that is the way to go for the 24.
That textbook pass out of turn number 4 for the 24, and Stitz almost gets into the rear bumper going into 1, drives it way up the racetrack. So Stitz starting to struggle on those tires, but Sarton makes that pass pretty easily there and didn't lose a lot of time into the 42 of Sacchetti. We'll have to see if he can now track down that 42 machine as the stage comes to starts to wind down.
Yeah, it's starting to wind down for sure, but I tell you what, the driver's starting to fall back a little bit. There's almost 3 wide between Sherwood, Pierce, and the 11 of Tatum, but Tatum going to be now going to the inside of Sherwood's made the pass on Pierce, but Pierce, the last few laps, has just been dropping back like a rock. Has lost 3 positions in the last 4 or 5 laps. Is now Tatum going to look to take that position here for 6, heading down into 3 and 4. But man, oh man, just like that in a blink of an eye, the tires seem to be falling away for a lot of drivers.
Yeah, for Pierce, I mean, he was in front of Altus there, running 4th, and lost that position to Altus. Sherwood, now Tatum. The 38 starting to kind of fall back here, using up those tires early on in the run to stay up with those guys, not paying off here for the 38. Now he's got to worry about the 12 of Andrew Medlin, who we touched on earlier. Had some great speed, was moving through the field. Looks like he's done the same thing as Cameron Sarton, the 24. That 12 machine's really flying up through the field here.
That he is, man. Some drivers really starting to make an impression here late in the going, no doubt, as we look back farther throughout the field. This is right here, Brian Burchett. He's going to be battling with that 48 of Sam Siegel as they've gotten passed by Bo Tiffany now, as it looks like Burchett not going to have the run he needs to get that run around Siegel, but right now the balance still continues on. These drivers about 11 seconds back from our leader, Cole Sacchetti, so about half a track back at this point from our leader.
And Bo Tiffany trying to work his way back up after that early spin and contact that he had with the outside wall, and then the 53 of Christopher Wade. You know, done a fairly decent job up to 17th. Christopher Wade still hasn't made up any spots, still in 21st for those 2 cars, but Tiffany slowly trying to work his way back up in the field with as many points as he can here tonight as the battling continues behind him with the 48 of Siegel and the 33 of Burchett.
Yeah, it's definitely still very, very, very much contested between these 3 right here in this back portion of this field, but man, I tell you what, Burchett trying everything in his bag here as he goes low off the top side. Big run, should have the position on Sam Siegel, and that is another way to make a classic pass here. As you can see up on our ticker, folks, it's going to be highlighted in blue. Those are our top 10 positions, as those are the 10 positions that receive stage points here at that lap 50 mark, as we're under 10 laps to go now.
10 laps, and right now, Ken Campbell holds that last spot. Right behind him, though, it's 6th, Travis Start, the 4 of Aaron Hale. We talked about Aaron Hale was falling back early in the run, but look at that 4 machine now, working his way up here, trying to get around the 6 of Travis Start for 11th and trying to get into the top 10 for stage points here.
That darn, man, this is a big old stack up right here as Bustler trying to make the pass on Pierce, who's really been struggling in that 38 machine. Here comes Aaron Hale in the 4-2. Remember, Aaron Hale started in the 8th position. He dropped back almost to around the 15th to 16th spot. He's now made his way back up to 11th. He's contending for these stage points here, but he's going to need to get around these drivers quickly, as he's also got Travis Dart in the 6 right in tow.
Yeah, and Bustler got held up by the 38 of Pierce, got pinched off the corner. Now we're going to lose that spot to the 15 of Ken Campbell. He's going to be susceptible here to the 4 of Aaron Hale. The 36 just not getting the drive off the bottom of the corner like he wants, and that's going to allow the 4 to go by, the 15 to go by, and just like that, Bustler goes from running 8th to just outside the top 10 as he continues to battle with the 4 of Aaron Hale.
And that's going to be the position for that final and last bonus point there in this stage. And look at Aaron Hill driving around the top side. Will Bustler dropping back to 11th. That's not going to pay points at lap 50. That's unfortunate. He'll need to get around Brandon Pierce or Ken Campbell, because Aaron Hill looks to be on the move.
And Aaron's got to be careful here. He doesn't get boxed in behind the 38, lose the spot to the 36 of Will Bustler. And that's kind of what just happened there in turn number 2. Got caught up behind Brandon Pierce, and now that allowed Bustler to get back by, but Aaron's going to try to drive it back around the outside here in 3 and 4.
Really deep into 3 and 4, and just right to the quarter panel. Now he gets to the quarter panel of Pierce, and it's almost going to be 3 wide with that little bit of a checkup there as Pierce slid up the racetrack. The 4, Aaron Hill had to get out of the gas, and right there, that's opened up the door. But Aaron Hill back to the outside here. It's feisty back for this final point in the playoff, in the stage.
Yeah, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, all right on top of one another, trying to get this final stage point. Aaron Hill's doing everything he can, looking 3 wide here out of turn number 4. Is this going to work? Are they going to be able to keep it out of the wall? They do, and Aaron Hale's going to come away with 2 for 1 out of turn number 4.
Great racing being shown by these 3 here as Hale goes around the outside and gets the 2 for 1 deal on the top side here at Rockingham, and he'll be up to 9th, looking to take home 2 bonus points, but trying to start behind the 38 and the 36, gets into the wall. But now Will Bustler, he's going to take the 10th spot as Brandon Pierce has just continued to fall back like a rock here from starting from the 3rd position. So tough break for him, but also up front, Cameron Sarton, he's closed down with us coming to 2 to go next time by.
Yeah, Sarton really chasing down the 42 of Sacchetti here, but is he going to have enough time to get this pass done to get this stage win as he closes in here in 3 and 4? Both drivers running the bottom line, but that 24 looks like he's got a little bit better of a drive off, trying to chase him down, see if he makes a move down here into 1 or if he decides to go to the outside.
Yeah, and I tell you what, they've both been pretty quick, but Joshua Altice right behind him has also been one of the faster cars on the racetrack in the 94, so that sets up well for him later in this race. But right now, it's Cameron Sarton, it's Cole Sacchetti here for a stage win here at the Full Send Racing Series as they come out of turn number 4. They're going to get the white flag here for the final lap of this stage, and they're going to see who can pull it off. Sacchetti's got the pressure, but I don't know if Sarton's going to have enough time here to make the move.
Yes, Sarton following right in the footsteps of the 42 of Cole Sacchetti here through 1 and 2. Both drivers drive it to the bottom. Not going to have the drive off down the backstretch, and I think he's not going to have anything here for the 42 of Sacchetti in 3 and 4, and he looks like he's just going to stay in line right behind the 42 of Cole Sacchetti, and Sacchetti is going to be your stage winner here.
That he is, out of turn number 4. It's Cole Sacchetti, stage win for him here tonight at the Full Send Racing Series at the Rockingham Speedway. And what a great first stage we've had here, man. Trevor, whoa, man, that is setting up for a great finish, I feel like.
A great battle, and we saw 3 wide at one point. These drivers really putting on a show. These cars kind of getting all over the place as the run continued. We saw them kind of snaking down the backstretch as they get loose off at turn number 2, but so far the racing's been great, and can't wait to get back from the stage here and get back to it.
That it is, man. And our stage results here after our first 50 laps. Cole Sacchetti with the win there. Cameron Sarton bringing home 2nd. It's going to be 3rd for Joshua Altice. 4th is going to go to Robert Sherwood. 5th is going to be Ross Tatum. 6th is going to go to Andrew Medlin. 7th is going to be Chris Stitz. 8th is going to go to Ken Campbell. 9th is going to be Aaron Hill. And the final playoff point, or bonus point, is going to go to Will Bustler in that 10th position. But I tell you what, folks, as these drivers get ready for pit road, we're going to head to our commercial break. We'll be right back. You won't miss a thing. And we're back, folks. But just like that, your stage winner from stage number 1, Cole Sacchetti, head first into the wall here on the back straightaway. And we're going to see on this replay here, Trevor, just a simple mistake. I think cold tires here, exiting off of turn 2. One of the spots we've talked about all night has been dangerous. And I think he even gets a little, it looks like he got loose and then it just got on the apron from there. He tried to save that thing, man, but it was just dead on to the left and heavy contact. I think that's going to be a lot of damage on that nose.
Yeah, unfortunately for the 42, ton of damage to the nose of that car. And like you touched on, the cold tires out of turn number 2. Gets another one here at Rockingham as he got loose and then clipped the apron. And once you hit that apron with that loose sensation, there's really no saving it. And that wall comes up at you quick. And for the 42 of Sacchetti, ton of damage. And it's going to be a long night for him as he tries to recover from this.
That just goes from one of the best feelings of winning a stage, doing a great first, 50 laps, to just throwing it away in one simple mistake. And that's all it is. It's just one simple mistake. And Trevor, both of us have had a lot of experience with these cars. Those cold tires sometimes, as a driver, you coming off those worn set of tires. They're warm. You have a little bit more security, it feels like, in those. Then you come back out there on the new set. You want to go faster, but it bites you. And when it does bite you, if you don't know it's coming, it can be too late.
Yeah, and it's so tough because you get those fresh tires. You're feeling good. You're like, I'm going to have all the grip, going into the corner, coming out of the corner. And it just doesn't stick like you think it's going to. It catches you by surprise, and just like what happened right there with Cole Sacchetti. I mean, it's so easy to do, especially on cold tires, and especially in these cars.
That it is, and it feels like when you get those cold tires, it's almost like you're on the nice edge. You over push that edge, you are done for. And right there, I think Sacchetti just overdid it just a little bit there off the exit at 2, and it was so late in the corner I don't think there was much time available for that 42 to correct itself. But he did, I will say, get service on pit road there as much as he could get done. He did get the required damage flags. He doesn't have anything like that, so that's good, a good sake for him. But it will be a lot of loss of downforce. We'll see how the 42 can make the rest of the night here, Trevor. But man, oh man, it's definitely shown that you got to stay on your P's and Q's here at Rockingham, or it will bite you.
Yeah, the track is not nice to you if you overstep the boundaries. And for Sacchetti, just that little bit of aggression there in 1 and 2 cost him here, but had a lot of speed, so hopefully the damage didn't hurt him too much. He can make his way back up through the field. But as we've seen with the 29 of Bo Tiffany, the 53 of Christopher Wade, involved in that first caution that we had, they haven't really been able to make their way through the field with their damage. So we'll have to wait and see if the 42 came out of it a little better off than those two did, or if he's on the same page as they are as we get ready for this restart.
Here we go. Pace car is back in. We're coming off our second caution of the night due to an incident, and our third caution due to a stage, technically. But here is starting as he heads into turn number 1. He looked and took that outside there, Trevor. I think he learned from the beginning, starting from pole position wasn't the greatest on the bottom.
Yeah, learned from that first restart there, and had a really good restart right after the stage. Got out to a pretty big lead there before the 42 spun out, but not so good of a jump there. The 2 of Rob Sherwood now finds himself up in the second, but the 94 of Altus showed a lot of speed at the end of the stage, so the 94 might be one of the drivers that we have to look out for to challenge the 24 here. But Sherwood trying to make a move to the outside, didn't quite get the run there. He's going to drop a little bit of time here to the 24 down the backstretch.
Yeah, he definitely is. It looks like not going to be able to do it, but behind there, King Campbell, I believe in the 15, he makes hard contact into the wall. I believe him and his teammate Chris Stitz may have had a moment on the back straightaway. I think maybe Stitz had gotten to the back bumper of his teammate and just looking to go to the inside, and from there, those two hold on to it. It really created a stack up here, as you can see. Burchett in the 33 trying to go around the outside here.
Yeah, Burchett trying to get around the 13 there of, I believe, that is going to be John Dart, and the 13 gets around him. He's got the 6 now, Travis Dart, right in front of him. That kind of stacked everybody up. Everybody doing a really good job, not running over each other there. Burchett trying to make that pass, but right behind him, the 96 there of Peterson, now trying to look to the inside of John Dart, and in front, the 22 of Stitz getting around the 38 of Brandon Pierce.
Big moves being made all around, and you got to think, coming back from that stage, what can these drivers learn to help better themselves for the rest of this race? Because lap 50 was that stage. I mean, it leaves 110 laps left in that race from that point on, and Probably looking at a one stop at least from there. You know, personally, Trevor, I feel like a few guys should see that those drivers that saved a lot of tire came back around at the end of the run.
Yeah, learn from what happened in stage one. If you burned your tires up, maybe back it off a little bit. Try to save some so you can be there, have the speed toward the end of the run. That way you don't lose a lot of time if we have green flag pit stops. And based on kind of what we saw in stage one, apart from that one spin by Bo Tiffany, the race, we went green to the stage, and the one spin by Sacchetti after the stage. This race has a good possibility of going green all the way to the end of all the way to the end.
That it does. It seems like once these drivers get going green, the stability starts to come in, and they can really drive their car. So look at this here, Andrew Medlin. We're going to pull up his driver cam and get to see what it's like to drive around Rockingham on board with this number 12 machine, and he's going to be looking to make the run on the 11. And Medlin, he has just been a man on a mission. He's going to be, I think, one to watch out here for the second half of this race, starting from 17th, already now trying to crack into the top 4.
Yeah, Medlin's just slowly but surely been working his way through the field as he gets around the 11 there of Ross Tatum. Every week when we go on board with this 12 machine, I mean, he is just laser focused at what's at hand, what's in front of him. You see him there working the wheel, a lot of little inputs to keep this car going straight, especially in the corners as you go over those bumps. A lot of little left and rights as the car gets unsettled over the bumps. But clears the 11 of Tatum now and trying to run down the 94 of Joshua Altus.
Yeah, I think you brought it up the best there, Trevor. The focus. I think that's the one adjective I think we all can take from Andrew Medlin's driver cam always is it just seems like he is just so focused into what's going on the racetrack that it really shows in his racecraft as he starts to work his way through. And I thought another great thing you brought up is how he's working the wheel. Some drivers will go into the corner, they'll set that wheel and hold it there and just kind of ride there and hold that position. And, that's not the worst thing, but you can see him, he's working that grip level. He's on the edge of it. He's fighting that wheel back and forth, left and right, all the way through the corner and trying to stay right on top of it.
I feel like Rockingham, you can't really hold that wheel once you get into the corner with how bumpy this track is. You really got to work the wheel to keep the car, going the way you want it, keep the momentum going. And you can see that right here with Medlin is, he's working that wheel left to right, trying to get around the 94 of Altus as he's caught up to him here, trying to go for that third position. And he is on a move right now, that 12 machine of Andrew Medlin.
That he is. He's really a man on the mission here with Altus right in front of him. Altus was the one driver that had really good long run pace. He was closing down our top 2 leaders at the end of the first run. So I'll be interested to see what this 94 can also have for later in this race with Sacchetti, having that unfortunate incident for himself out of 2. That really opened up the door for, I think, for this 94 to, have one less car to really contend with. So it'll be very interesting. But now Medlin's throwing his name into the pile. So it's very, very fun to see. And you brought up even the bumps, and like the bumps of this racetrack is so different than a lot of the tracks we go to. I personally feel like when you come here, it's almost like riding a roller coaster, Trevor. It's just up and down through the corners.
That's what it feels like. The bumps here are really aggressive compared to other tracks, and it's not just there's one bump, the middle of turn 1 or the middle of turn 4. This track is bumpy, top to bottom. Pretty much walk through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 3 and 4 being the bumpiest part of the racetrack. So these drivers got their hands full here tonight as they continue to pace or continue to lap around here as we complete lap 71 here.
71 laps here in the books at Rockingham, and it's definitely been a fantastic night of racing so far. But I tell you what, folks, if you're out there looking for a fantastic set of merchandise, you need to go check out our new store. That's right, it's at Store Frontier at Freaky Fast Broadcasting there, and you can check out our merch that we have. We have a great selection of hoodies and t-shirts there that I think you all would be very interested in checking out, and I'll put that link out there in the chat. It's also down in our description if you want to check that out also. So thank you all. If you haven't yet, please go check that out, because I'm telling you, we got some high quality merch there from Store Frontier. So thank you to Store Frontier and us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and hope you all enjoy that. But the racing, it's been super fun to watch so far, Trevor. But man, I tell you, it's going to be interesting to see when that pit stop sequence comes in. I'm, feeling that personally, these drivers are probably going to try to split this race, I'd imagine, into about 50 lap runs. So I'd say around 110 to 100 here, we could see that pit road window possibly open up for our last pit stop.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. If we don't get a caution, that 105, 110 window is going to be where these drivers want to pit. Give them the best tires toward the end of the race. But We'll have to see if somebody decides to come in a little earlier, try to get that undercut, get those fresh tires, get the gap to these guys who stay out a little longer. But it'll be interesting with the green flag pit strategy if we get to that point. But right now, there's two of Robert Sherwood trying to catch the 24 of Cameron Sarton. He has not let that 24 machine get away from him.
He has not. The two of Sherwood has kept the pressure on our leader of Sarton, and Sherwood really showing a lot of pace. He's got to feel good about that so far through this run, and got information that it's about 76 laps you can go on fuel. So you're not going to be able to see anybody stretch the full distance here that we needed. But, we could see different ends of the spectrum of strategies. We could see some drivers possibly even push it as far as probably 125 laps into this race if need be. So we may see somebody look to do that. Maybe try to catch a caution because they know we've seen the cold tires have been the most dangerous phase of this race. When you come out of pit road, it's going to be even much colder from there as tires don't even get time to really roll around and get warmed up.
Yeah, that could be the strategy call for some of these guys. Stay out late, let these green flag pit stops, cycle, see if there's a caution from somebody maybe being a little over aggressive on the cold tires, catching somebody out, and you get all that track position compared to the guys who already pit. So something we'll keep an eye on as this race continues. But back here in the back, we've got this 42 of Siketti getting around the 6 of Travis Dart. As Siketti trying to make his way back up through the field after his unfortunate spin, looking to go after now Aaron Hale in the 4th and 12th position.
Siketti, a man on a mission right here with a lot of nose damage. That is so impressive to see too, because that right there is going to make that car handle so terribly. He is just driving an excellent line, just able to really drive around it, and that is super impressive to see from here. The thing that would concern me if I was him is the longer this run goes on, probably the worse that condition will be. You lose downforce when you get that damage on the nose, and when you lose downforce, it usually makes the tire wear go up. So we'll see if Siketti can hold on to it, but he's done a great job to kind of rebound so far.
Yeah, slowly working his way up through here, but like you said, as this run continues with that damage, that car is going to start to feel the effects of it more and more compared to other drivers. It looks like he might have caught the wall a little bit trying to get it into turn number 1, but as this run continues, that tightness feeling will go up, and that feeling of burning out the right rear is going to go up as well as he fights this damaged race car.
It'll definitely be a tough one all night for him, as he was hoping to break through, get himself another victory, build those playoff points, because I think that's going to be the one thing that's critical. It's so competitive here at the Full Send Racing Series, and if you can build up those playoff points heading into those playoffs, that'll make you feel much more confident. And right now, Cole Siketti is the top driver when it comes to those playoff points, having 12 in his back pocket. And I think that stage one here tonight, that should also add to that for him. So great news for him that he's adding on to the playoff total, even though he's got that damage.
Yeah, it's got to make him feel a little bit, a little better knowing that he got that stage win, got that playoff point, even though he did have that spin. So a little bit of comfort for the 42 machine even after the incident. But on board now with the 15 of Ken Campbell as he works his way through 3 and 4. You really see it on this onboard camera how bumpy 3 and 4 really is as the 15 comes off the 4 in the start-finish line here.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, through 1 and 2, there's some decent bumps, but I feel like in 3 and 4, you really get the up and down undulation of almost driving up and down like Campbell's back or such, as you got like hills pretty much put into the corner. So one of the more unique tracks for sure to have something like this, but that's why I think Rockingham is so special, man, and would love to see maybe this track one day get its return back out there, as we've seen iRacing be able to bring back more full speed.
It would be so fun to see this track back with the trucks or maybe the Xfinity Series running on it. It's got so much character to it. So many classic races here at this track when it was in circulation. But right now at iRacing, it's the 33 of Burchett overdrives turn 3 and 4, gets into the outside wall. But here tonight, these guys putting on a great show, showing how much fun this track can be to race around.
Yeah, it can be a blast for sure. I mean, me and you talked about it a little bit before. I love this racetrack personally as myself as a driver out there, but I tell you, it is one of the tougher ones. It takes a certain skill, and if you don't respect this track, this is a track that will quickly make you respect it, because of just like we said, the characteristics of it. There's nothing kind of like it out there. I wouldn't even say there's really a track you drive similar to this racetrack in characteristics. So it's really its own beast in itself. And like we said, I would love to see it come back, man. So definitely as a North Carolina native too. So man, love to have it here at least on iRacing, and that's what the great platform iRacing.com gives us.
Yes, it is this battle between the 94 of Altus and Medlin still there, and they're slowly catching the 2 of Robert Sherwood and the 24 of Cameron Sarton. Sherwood hasn't let the 24 go, but then these two behind him slowly starting to catch them. We might have ourselves a 4-way battle for the lead here in the next couple of laps if this keeps going at its current pace.
Yeah, I've been very thoroughly interested in this because I thought Sarton, he was looking to start pulling away, but the gaps have all started to close down and it's starting to heat up. But look, King Campbell, who had that moment on the back straightaway, he's now got Brandon Pierce battling in the 38 with him. Those two battling here, that's going to be an interesting position as Campbell was able to take that spot to slide up to 7th. But you got Bustler also there in 9th, who finished 10th in the stage. So some drivers right there who are fighting for that final stage point right here in the mix a little bit better here in this run.
Yeah, Campbell had that moment off of 4. Stitz in front of him, or off of 2. Stitz in front of him had a similar moment out of turn number 2. Got really loose down the backstretch. Did a really good job saving that car. But for Pierce in the 38, doesn't look like he burned the tires up quite as bad early in this run as he did in that first stage, and now looking to attack the 15 of King Campbell here off the bottom. It's a really good drive down the backstretch and into turn number 3.
Yeah, he'll try to make this move here stick, and Pierce had a tough run that first one. We'll see if he can change it up. But the run here off of 4, not enough. Campbell able to hold on to that position is now Bustler. He thinks about trying to maybe sneak to the outside. This is one thing as a driver, you can get a little bit of help from that driver up ahead if they're battling. If you are able to get to that quarter panel, and sometimes can take that position. But it looks like too much power from the 38 as he's able to get to the run again on the 15 heading down the 3.
And again, side by side out of turn number 4, and just can't get that drive off the corner. Campbell able to keep his momentum up. Looks like Bustler going to break a little bit early, Bustler's going to go around the outside of of Pierce there, but because Pierce backed off a little early, but now they all kind of seem to file out as Bustler wasn't able to make that move. But again, going to try the outside here on the 38.
It's just showing that King Campbell is just doing a good job of almost defending. He's put his car right in the middle of the road, getting the run off the corner. It means he's back in the corner, uplifting a little bit earlier, and just trying to be really able to make good exits. And that's what makes it tough when you're in a car on the bottom trying to pass it. That car on the outside is just, you're really not overdriving the corner. And if they can stay, within the bounds on that outer groove and just get a good run off, it makes it so tough to pass. And I think that's what Pierce was experiencing there in that 38.
Yeah, and it makes you burn it makes these drivers burn their stuff up a little bit more trying to make that pass if a driver's running that middle groove and getting that drive off. Really kind of forces you to drive it in there, try to get the run off the corner, causes you to burn your stuff up a little bit more. And for Pierce, might have done that there, trying to get around the 15 of King Campbell. It's going to allow Bustler in 36 to try to attack him here into turn number 3. But again, just no real momentum there for the 36. Couldn't make a line work for him. He's going to stay in line here.
Yeah, just kind of stay in line here, like you said, just had the run, but just didn't have the area to go for himself. It looked like he was going for the same position on the track. So, unfortunately, got to have a little bit of a different line to be able to get there. And right now, Bustler not able to get side by side with Pierce, as Pierce hasn't been able to get back to King Campbell. But a driver that's starting to drop farther back is Brian Burchett. He's just got passed by Aaron Hill one lap. Then the next lap was Zachary Pearson. Then the next lap after that was Travis Start. And as I say that, Brian Burchett, he's had enough. He's coming to pit road here on lap 94. That is a very aggressive move from this 33 machine.
A very early pit stop here for the 33. He did get into the outside wall in turn number 3. Kind of drove it in a little too deep. Got to the outside wall, so probably coming down here to get those 4 fresh tires, get that damage fixed, and get back out there. But with this pit strategy now, he's going to have to go to the end of this race, and those tires by the end of this run here are going to be screaming at that 33 machine as we move forward here to the 2 of Robert Sherwood, coming under pressure from the 94 of Joshua Altis.
Yeah, it's starting to heat up a little bit here from the second position on back. Sarton has kind of ironed out his lead, held on to about a half a second gap back to Sherwood here in this 2, but Altis has come up to the back of the 2 of the 94. You got the 12 of Medlin still right there on the back bumper of Altis, and then Tatum trying to break his way up here is our top 5, only separated by a second and a half at the moment. And I still think our top 5, they may try to take it about another 10, maybe even 15 laps here longer. I think Burchett there on the very aggressive side of that run there. But I think, like you said, Trevor, due to that damage, he came down that early.
Yeah, I expect our lead group here to be out there, like you said, another 5 to 10 laps as Tatum now closes in on this battle here for second. And the 11 machine hasn't made a lot of noise here tonight, but now as these guys continue to kind of battle out, as this run continues, Ross Tatum letting everybody know, hey, I saved a little bit of tire. I've got some speed. I'm here for this. And looking to the inside now with the 12 of Andrew Medlin off of turn number 4.
I kind of feel like that's Ross's MO, man. He's always just there. You at one moment he's running in the top 5, and then all of a sudden he'll be breaking into the lead. So Ross Tatum here trying to storm his way forward late into this race, and it'd be a classic moment for him. But in this 11 machine, already 2 wins this season. He'll be looking to possibly get that third that Sacchetti was looking for, as those two are tied with the most wins. And then you also got starting up front. He's got a win to his name, so that he'll be going for his second. So it would be a log jam when it comes to those drivers up front of this field. But man, oh man, it's just a tough group of them right now. As Tatum, he looks very quick right here. He made the quick pass on Medlin. I think he might have quick work here on Altis.
Yeah, Altis looks like he's struggling a little bit. Got really loose off of turn number 2. That last lap at Sherwood looks like he's going to be bringing the 2 machine down pit road here. So, Zach, like you touched on, you said lap 100 would be early for these guys. You thought 105, 110. Sherwood going for the early pit stop here in the 2 machine.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised by that by the 2. I think he was a little bit aggressive on the tires. It seems like he was the one really pushing the pace when it came to the 24 up front. And it seems like that has kind of came back to bite him. There's the 94 and the 11 closed in on him. So I think he's seen enough. He says he's going to go aggressive with it. Here's 60 laps to go, hit pit road. It'll be interesting to see which strategy works better, but I always feel like having just a little bit fresher tires coming down to the end of this race, you're going to want to have that. But Tatum, he continues the charge. And, man, if you're Cameron Sarton, you see that 11 break up into that second position, make 2 quick passes like that, you might be a little bit worried. But look at this Joshua Altis. He's going on the same attack plan as, he slides on the racetrack. I think trying to get down here to pit road he's going to do the same as his teammate Robert Sherwood.
Yeah, I got to bring it down here basically 3 laps later than Sherwood did. A little bit of a slight issue getting to pit road. Maybe lost a little bit of time there as he got onto the apron and had to go back up the racetrack and come back down pit road. But 94 brings it down pit road. But Tatum now, after clearing the 94 and the 12 of Andrew Medlin, starting to slowly cut into the lead of the 24 of Sarton. And Sarton's got to be looking in that mirror and starting to see that 11 car growing closer and closer.
Yeah, this has definitely got to be a thought process going through the head of that number 24 machine about that 11. And that time by right there, it was over a 1/10 of a second difference between those top 2. So we'll see, can Tatum continue to close it down before they hit pit road, or does Sarton, have enough with that? Does he, decide to come into pit road here before that number 11? That'll be an interesting decision, but it's also tough because, it's kind of all these guys cycling out on new tires, Trevor. It makes it tough where you can lose time with the guys passing you and putting you not in the preferred groove with those fresher tires.
Yeah, that's what just happened right there to the 11 of Ross Tatum. Ryan Lynch on fresh tires came around his outside out of turn number 2, really cost the 11 about, 5/10 of a second there. So he lost a lot of time as the 3 got around him, but now settling back in. That's something these drivers are going to have to watch out for. These fresh tires, the speed difference between the old tires, these guys are going to have to be careful of that.
That they are. And we see right here Sacchetti in the 42, Bo Tiffany in the 29. Both drivers, major nose damage from early spins in this race. Bo Tiffany on the opening laps of this race. Cole Sacchetti there right after the win in stage number 1 came out there to start that last part of this race, spun it coming out of 2. Now Meyer back here, both of them 9th and 10th. But I'll tell you, with the damage they have, this is very impressive to see them work their way right here. They are 14 seconds behind our leader, but I tell you what, right here we'll see what happens with the pit strategy for their sake heading into the last half of this race. If they catch their caution just right, maybe I think that's what they're trying to play here, Trevor, is stretch it a little bit farther.
Yeah, we'll play that long game, see if you can catch a late race caution to give you some track position. But a really good recovery drive for those guys as pit cycles continue here as Brandon Pierce is pitted. But doing a good job for those 2 with the damage they have to work their way up through the field here as the 94 of Altis on those fresh tires trying to get around both of them.
Yeah, Altis trying to make quick work in that 94 because he needs to do that. He cannot give up too much time. His teammate Sherwood came in about a lap before him, and he's about a whole straightaway ahead. So that could be the difference late in this race coming down to the end. And tell you what, it's starting to heat up now. Ross Tatum and Andrew Medlin from second and third hit pit road. Cameron Sarton stays out. Will he come this time? I think Sarton is going to be on pit road this time, folks.
Yeah, Sarton, after seeing the two behind him pit, decided to bring that 24 machine down pit lane here, not wanting to give up a lot of time to those guys on fresh tires. Sarton's going to bring it down here to the attention of his crew. That's going to allow Chris Stitz now. He's going to cycle to the lead along with Ken Campbell and Aaron Hale, who have all decided to still continue to stay out.
Yeah, I think the back half of that top 10, they're probably going to look to stretch this run a little bit farther than the rest of the field. They'll probably try to stretch it to that 120 point maybe, just to look for a yellow. That could be the timing point for them, as they know they're going to need a little bit of help here. But Sarton into the box nice and clean, and that's the key. Very hot and hot tires that are worn out here. Very easy to slide through those boxes, and that was a great stop for Sarton.
A great stop there for Cameron Sarton. I feel like that's the thing we touch on every week, no matter what league we're broadcasting here at Freaky Fast, is green flag pit stops and the importance of them, and just how difficult it can be to go from race speed to pit road speed back to race speed without making a mistake, as we tend to see one or two pit road mistakes pretty much every week.
No, trust me. We all know as drivers we have our fair share of pit road mistakes. It's very easy and a place that, a lot of people think about pit road, not too much, but that's a place where you can win races and very easily lose races. So you got to credit these drivers. It's tough to get on the pit road, especially a weird pit road like Rockingham, a little bit different than most with that entry there. So definitely these drivers doing a good job getting down to that 40 mile an hour for pit speed. But Aaron Hill still out there going along on the racetrack. But I tell you what, Sarton did get passed by the 11 of Ross Tatum with that cycle through a pit stops. That is going to be an interesting scenario to play out here, because Tatum is going to have to get passed now by Sarton, but also Altice and Sherwood up ahead of both of them. So they're going to have to go through a couple cars.
Yeah, they're going to have to work their way up through these guys that have already made their pit stops, and not only that, but for Sarton, he's going to have to battle here with the 11 of Ross Tatum. For Sarton, I mean, he's had that clean air all night long, and Zach, having raced in these cars the last couple of weeks, how important that clean air really is, especially at a track like this.
Oh, no doubt. I tell you, the clean air is gigantic, especially in the Xfinity car, I think, even more so than some of the other cars. This car makes so little downforce. So when you're out front, you make like so much more than what you would normally behind the car. It just even adds to that disadvantage of having that lower grip and that grip level being lower in these cars. So it's a tough circumstance. Ooh, a car bounces off the wall back there, and that was on the outside of Tatum and Sarton. I think that was the 33 of Burchett, but I think everybody somehow survives that as nobody makes contact. As Medlin and Sarton definitely had a huge scare.
Yeah, Burchett bounced off the outside wall out of turn number 2, that trouble spot that we touched on, but thankfully for Sarton got through it. Medlin had to check up a little bit, but for Sarton as well, the lap before that, got into the outside wall out of turn number 4, a little bit of damage to the right front of that 24 machine, and that dirty air of the 11 of Ross Tatum kind of got up into that outside wall, so we'll have to see if that little bit of damage is going to hurt that 24 machine over the course of the rest of this race.
Well, that is a huge moment, and just like I said, very little downforce on these cars, a little bit of damage, in my opinion, affects it even that much more here. So, and especially to the tire wear department. In a track like this, you want your as good a grip as possible to help that tire wear division. So we'll see how Sarton can hold on, but man, definitely that damage is not going to help him. I think Tatum might have put himself in a prime position here late coming down into this race for that third victory, but I tell you what, he's still got to go by Sherwood and Altice, but they're closing in on those two up front.
Yeah, closing in on those two. 6 lap difference between the tires between Tatum and Altice, and about 8 laps the difference between Tatum and Sherwood. So slowly going to close in on those guys, but Altice isn't going to be easy to pass. He's shown speed all night long, and that 94 machine's not going to give up his second spot easily as he tries to track down his teammate of Rob Sherwood for the lead.
Yeah, he's going to try to track him down, and those 2-lap pressure will help that number 94 continue to close the gap down on his teammate. But at the moment right now, the problem for Altice also is he's behind a lap car that has a little bit fresher tires, but with damage. So the 94 kind of stacked up behind this 29 right here. it's making it tough on him because he's got continuous dirty air, and behind him is Ross Tatum coming in. It's almost contact from Altice to that back bumper of that number 29.
Yeah, drove it in there really deep. Almost gave Bo Tiffany a shot in the middle of 1 and 2. Trying to send the message that, hey, I'm here. I'm on the lead lap. You need to let me by. You're a lap down. But Tiffany not giving that spot up, and that continues to, cost time to the 94, not only to his teammate, but also to this 11 of Ross Tatum. And Tatum's now there, and he's going to be looking for a way to get around this 94 here shortly.
And Altice just a little too deep in the one there. Also, that's going to lose him more time. But now Sarton even closing in. They also got Medlin there. As it's all the drivers from the second all the way back to the 5th position stacked up here, heading into 3 and 4. And Tatum out of 4. Going to look to the inside. Just too much of a tire difference. Ross Tatum looking to drive himself into position here late in this race.
And Tatum here to the inside, gets a little bit of the apron, gets a little tight, drifts up, but should have that 94 clear. But as I say that, Altice with a really good run off of turn number 2, going to keep it side by side with the 11 here, and that's going to allow the 24 starting to close up. But in turn number 4, it looks like Tatum's going to get that 94 cleared, and it's going to bring Sarton with him.
Yeah, the key is you got to be able to exit off of turn 2 and have a decent sized lead there to be able to help yourself head into 3. That pass on the bottom of 3 a little bit easier than it is to make on 1 and 2. But Medlin, he tries to go for it, just could not clear in time. Now Altice hangs on the quarter panel, but Medlin should have that spot now as Altice drops back to 5th. The positions from 2nd all the way back to 4th are flying up through. Can Sherwood hold him off, though? It's a long time still to go in this race.
Yeah, about 2 seconds the gap between Tatum and Sherwood, and that gap's closing down. Every turn they go around as those fresh tires really tracking down the 2 of Sherwood, and still here with about 37 laps to go. I don't know if it's going to be able to hold them off unless we get a late race caution here, and that kind of evens everybody out. But as it's looking right now, Tatum sitting pretty here in the 2nd position.
Definitely sitting in a very, very good spot here for sure. But I tell you what, folks, one thing you need to check out is our iRacing iFlag sponsor. I tell you what, the best visual flag system out there, 64 LEDs that gives you the visual flag. Stay out there on the racetrack to help you stay on top of all situations. It also can help be your spotter, let you know if cars are to your inside or outside, and many other different things such as their digital pit board that you can pair along with it. So make sure you head on over to iRacingIFlag.com, use our promo code FreakyFast22, and you can get a discount at purchase there of your own iRacing iFlag. So thank you to iRacing iFlag for being a great sponsor. And also, last but not least, let's go ahead and shout out Admin Box, one of the best button boxes out there that not only gives you the driver functionality that most sim racing button boxes do, but it also gives you the race control functionality that allows you to control the race, throw yellow flags, clear black flags, do anything a clear, concise admin could do. And right here, as you see, we have a yellow. You can be able to control that there. Use the discount code FFB/BOXX for a discount at purchase at adminbox.com. And right here, Trevor, caution flag out. This is a huge moment.
Yeah, this is what Sherwood wanted. Get that track position, get that caution here, as it looks like maybe contact between the 36 of Bustler and the 22 of Stitz here. We'll have to take a look as they head down here into turn number 3. We got Peterson there in the 96, and yeah, it looks like Bustler just got the apron, got a little tight, got into the 22 of Stitz. Stitz with a pretty lazy spin through the center of turn 3, doesn't hit anything. I don't think he gets hit by anybody. So good job by everybody getting around Stitz there. And thankfully for Stitz, I don't think a lot of damage there for the 22 machine.
Yeah, tough break from him losing that track position, but he'll definitely like that. There's no damage after leading this race early in there, just other than the contact being made between those two of Will Bustler and Chris Stitz. But this caution flag changes everything. 4th one of the night. Like you said, Sherwood wanted this. This is what the 2 needed. He's now going to be able to even up the tire game. And I tell you what, he was quick enough to where if he can get out front here, he's going to be very, very tough to get around here late in the going. Right now, everybody taking their final and 4th set of tires this race.
Yeah, everybody comes down pit road. A couple cars stay out. So Zachary Peterson, Travis Dart, Ryan Lynch, all deciding to stay out. So that's going to kind of change up, what these leaders are going to have to deal with is they're going to have to work through some slower cars on old tires. It looks like the 2 of Sherwood beats Tatum off of pit road. So again, for Sherwood, beating the 11 off pit road, going to have that track position over him, but going to have a couple of cars on older tires they've got to navigate their way through here on this restart.
Big moments for sure here, Trevor. And man, this is this is going to be nerve-wracking for sure. The cars on the older tires out in front there, the top three did not pit. It looks like Lynch may be coming down this time. Travis Dart also, but it looks like Peterson will stay out. So one car not to pit there, and I guess Peterson's going to look to save that set of tires here. Maybe see this race a little bit farther, green flag, then hope for another caution. But we're going to be soon coming up to 30 laps to go. This race will click away very quickly, and that's going to be tough to make your way through the field. But I think that's a gamble the 96 is willing to take.
Yeah, it's a gamble that he's going to take. He made his bet. He's got to lie in it now, but anything can happen here, especially on these fresh tires. We saw what happened there with Sacchetti after the stage break on fresh tires, and anything can happen here for the 96. Though I think he's going to need this race to go about 10-15 laps green, then get a caution so we can come down and take that last set of tires, so we can have a little bit of an advantage over these guys who just came in and took their last set.
We'll see how it all plays out here as we're going to be watching it live here on Freaky Fast Broadcast. And thank you all for tuning in, man. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, guys, go ahead and hit it, because it's been a blast here to call the race tonight up here from the booth. But I imagine these drivers have out here had a blast, and we hope you all out there have had a great time also. So if you have, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't also yet, and hit the bell notification button, because we got racing going on all throughout the week, man. It's definitely filled up with plenty of different great racing series that bring the action each and every night here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting on iRacing Live. And Trevor, this restart here, it's going to get a little bit mixy, man. Sherwood up top, Peterson starting down low. This is going to open up the door for a few things. We got to watch out for the wheel spin.
Yeah, Sherwood's going to have that preferred line along with Cameron starting in the 24. Those two on the top, I think, are going to be in prime position here. And if I'm Ross Tatum, I'm a little nervous. We've seen wheel spin on new tires. We've seen what wheel spin can do after 15 laps. And, Peterson's kind of in that window he's got 27, 28 laps on these tires. That wheel spin here for the 11, he's going to be something he's got to watch out for with that 96 on this restart.
We'll see who can pull it off here, folks. It's going to be this time the pace car pulling in. Zachary Peterson in the 96 machine here in control of the field. It's going to be the two of Robert Sherwood on his outside, and they go into the restart zone. Pierce takes off, and now spinning the tires. Sherwood goes around the outside, but Tatum able to get advantage of that. He slides up in front of Sarton, and he's going to take the second spot.
And Tatum with a great start. Sarton not the start he was looking for. That allowed the 11 to get up in front of him as Peterson starting to fall back now, stacking everybody up on the bottom. That's going to allow the 94 and 12 Medlin to get by him as well. But for Tatum, perfect restart that he wanted, was able to clear the 96 and fall right in line behind the two of Robert Sherwood.
Here it is. It's going to be the 12 of Andrew Medlin here battling with that 94 of Joshua Altice here, as they're going to be looking to battle for this top four position. Up in the front, though, it's our top three. But you can see back there, it's three wide heading into turn number 3 with Zachary Peterson right in the middle of that hornet's nest as everybody tries to go around him on the older set of tires. And you can see the difference that rubber makes here at Rockingham.
Yeah, huge difference now is just within a lap. The 96 has gone from the lead all the way back to almost 15th position, but three wide there for a second with Aaron Hale and the 22 of Stitz. Able to make that work as Peterson continues to fall back, now hoping that we get a caution in the next couple of laps so he can get those fresh tires and make this track position back up.
Yeah, he's going to definitely need some help with that there, Trevor, but we'll see how it works out for him. Hopefully for him, he can stay on the lead lap, but Sherwood up front in the two. He's trying to do his best job to drive away from this field. He wants to go out there, get this victory tonight. That would be a huge moment for the two machine here as Ross Tatum. He's looking to close it down, but Sherwood running that upper groove. I don't think there's no tire saving going on with that team.
Yeah, I don't think he's saving any tires here. And for Sherwood, I mean, he's shown speed all season long, just had bad luck. Last week, finally had a good result in Indianapolis, and this week, leading late in the race. We'll have to see if he can hang on to finally get his first win of the season here. But right behind him, he's got the two-time winner of Ross Tatum. Cameron Sarton, the two-time champ, the winner from the Roval, is sitting in third. And right behind him, I mean, Altice has a win this season. Medlin has a win this season. So he's got a lot of drivers right behind him that have shown speed all season long, looking to steal this victory away from him.
Yeah, they are here, Trevor. It's going to be fun to see who can get it done right now. Sherwood looking for that first victory. Tatum looking for the third. Sarton looking for the second. But if something happens between these two, the other two battling behind him, it's Medlin going to the inside. This man's on a mission. We see it tonight. Started 17th. Now back up to the 4th spot. We'll see if he can close down on these top 3, because if something happens up front, he may be the driver in position. Also, Brandon Pierce here in this 38. He's trying to make a rebound here as he's trying to run up on the 94.
Yeah, I mean, Pierce has speed. I mean, we saw it qualified 3rd, ran up front for most of that first stage until he burned the tires up, fell back. So 38 trying to recover, trying to get back up here into our top 5. He's just sitting there in 6th looking for a way to get around the 94. But Medlin now clearing Alti's, trying to set his sights on our top 3. And if they get racy, that's just going to allow the 12 to close in closer and closer.
With that, it will, man. And I tell you what, this is going to be a great one. This could also set up some interesting scenarios heading into these playoffs for sure, because look at Sherwood, 308 points all the way down to Bo Tiffany, and 13th is 276. So, I mean, it's only about a 42-point gap between those two drivers. This would be a huge moment if Sherwood can get that victory. This would lock him in, and he would have a lot of weight taken off from heading into Mid-Ohio, especially next week, and then the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, with those two tracks, the road course, and we all know how some drivers feel about road courses. Some people love them, some people absolutely hate them. So Sherwood could get this win. I mean, that's just a lot of stress off his shoulders. And then after that, Atlanta, I mean, depending on what Atlanta these guys run, so I don't know if it's set in stone, if it's going to be the new Atlanta or the old Atlanta. I mean, that can be such a wild card if we go to new Atlanta, and then if it's old Atlanta, the tire wear, the way these cars run around that track, that can be just a difficult race for these guys as well.
Yeah, then throw in Martinsville while you're at it. You're just in the full cycle, everybody. So these drivers are definitely in the midst of the tough part of the schedule. But right now, everybody trying to make the most of it right now. Still, Sherwood holding on to the lead out front. And it was Ross Tatum who slid back to the 3rd position. I think a few of these drivers maybe noticed this is a little bit longer of a run than maybe they were thinking. Maybe they need to save a little something. But it seems like Tatum, he gave up that 2nd spot to Sarton to try to go up there and track down that 2 and the 12 of Andrew Medlin. He tried to go and is now starting to actually attack the 11 for the 3rd spot. Yeah,
Medlin closed in here. I don't know if Tatum had an issue, maybe out of one of the corners, got a little loose, lost that time to Sarton, or if he just, like you said, saving a little bit of tire, but kind of dropping back here for the 11 of Tatum as Medlin looked for a way around him. Not quite going to have any momentum out of turn 1 or 2, but should have a decent run here down the back straightaways. This 12 car looking to the outside now with the 11 of Ross Tatum.
Power move trying to get to the quarter panel of Ross Tatum. He saw it coming. He drives through the center corner and off and clears that 12 machine there of Andrew Medlin as they continue their battle. It's starting to get a little bit closer in the lap department time as Sherwood that time still the fastest of the top 4, but only 0.8 separating our top 2 and only almost 2 seconds separating our top 5.
Yeah, for Sherwood, I mean, you just got to be careful here. You got the clean air, and you want to pull a gap, but you don't want to wear out those tires, to the point where you're not going to have anything left if these guys track you back down. So it's just a game that you've got to play. How hard do I have to push? How hard do I have to save to hold my lead and save some tire at the same time?
That's always the question to be asked. It's so tough to juggle as the drivers have to do week in and week out. And the one that does it the best will be the one sitting in victory lane. And as I say that, Sherwood just opening up the gap, man. That too is just looking to be not even make a question about this. He's trying to make sure nobody's even close when he gets to the finish line. And that's the best way to not feel pressure, is just open up the gap and not have someone on your back bumper. And right now, Sherwood's doing that and starting to fall back into even the clutches of Ross Tatum, who's starting to make his charge back forward.
Yeah, Tatum now starting to, it was the fastest car the last lap, fastest car this lap in that 11 machine. So Zach, I think he might have hit it on the head, might have backed off just a little bit, saved a little bit of tire. That 11 machine now, fastest car on track, starting to close back in here on the 24 of Cameron Sarton. Got to make this pass fairly quickly so we can try to run down the two of Sherwood as the laps just continue to click away here with about 13 laps to go here as they cross the line.
This is what the the number 2 wants to see, is that 11, that 24 battle. Wants to see everybody get all stacked up in this group. But right here, Medlin even closing down with them also. So this isn't over between these two drivers even. So Tatum going to try to now focus out in the front windshield, try to run them down. But this is a big gap that he's going to have to close down. And Sherwood looking smooth.
About a second and a half between Sherwood and Tatum. Sherwood a little bit quicker there than Ross Tatum and Medlin running the same time as our race leaders. So Medlin, Sherwood showing the speed here as this run continues. But Tatum, now that he's cleared the 24 of Cameron Sarton, I think slowly going to start tracking down that 2 machine. But the question is he going to have enough time as we come to 10 to go?
Yeah, that will be the big question. Is there enough time? He's going to have to do it very, very quickly. And that time it was about a full 1/10 of a second. That right there won't cut it, though. He's going to need more than that. He needs that 2 to either have a mistake, but he just made a mistake, actually. Sorry, going out of 2. So the 11 there just lost a little bit of time out of turn 2, but he'll try to gain it back here in 3 and 4. So Ross Tatum, a man on the mission, but he's going to have to gain it very quickly, as now 10 laps to go.
At 10 to go, the gap growing a little less than a 1/10 of a second quicker there for Tatum. And at this rate, not going to catch the 2 machine before the end of this race. As the gap sits at about 1.3 seconds back to the 11 machine. So for Sherwood, it's just hit your marks, don't make any mistakes, and he should have enough time he should have enough laps to hold on to this race win.
We'll see, can he do it again? Another 10th cut out there by Ross Tatum, and it's consistently about a 1/10 of a second cut out. But again, like you said, Trevor, that's not going to do it. But the closer he gets, the more the 2 is probably going to start to think about it. That's all Ross Tatum can do, is try to close it down as fast as he quickly can, because he never knows. This 2 has a little bit of a shakeup. It might stack him up. And right now, the 2 even changing his lineup here a little bit here, and even trying to, find some speed, but I don't think it's being found. Is right there. That was more. That was 2/10 of a second. As you can see on our times down there at the bottom, it's comparing the lap times. The green times by Tatum showing that how fast he is.
At Tatum, 2/10 of a second quicker that time, and that 11 car is now looming in the mirror of the 2 of Robert Sherwood. Sherwood going to start to feel the pressure of the 11 machine breathing down his neck here, and the mistakes may happen as Tatum still continues to close in. That time, about a 1/10 and a half quicker, as now the gap's down to almost a half a second between these 2 drivers.
And a mistake from Sherwood out of turn 2, gets a little bit loose, loses even more time. Here comes the 11, the 3 of Ryan Lynch ahead to the lap down car here. He's going to pull low, go low to let the leader go by. This will help the 2 machine. But right here, heading into 1, actually the 2 going to be a little bit up the racetrack there with that lapper. But now Tatum, he's going to have to go up the racetrack, but he's closed it down. 6/10 of a second separates him with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, but the 3 drifts up in front of the 11 of Tatum. It's going to cost him a little bit of time down the back straightaway as he's going to get around the 3 machine. He does here in turn number 3. Continues now to chase down this 2 of Sherwood. Now as the gap back up to 7/10 there as Tatum had to get around the lap car.
And the lap car did not help either the leader or the driver in second, but here's going to be a cleaner lap for both of them. We'll see what the difference is. 5 laps to go down Thunder Alley. We'll see, can Tatum go out there, get the 3rd victory, or does Sherwood score the first one of his season?
Sherwood coming out of turn number 4, running that bottom line. Tatum letting it drift all the way up to the wall, carrying that momentum as much as he can as he crosses the line. There's 7:10 still the gap, but there again, almost a 10th quicker for Tatum, but just running out of laps here as we've got 4 to go.
4 to go here. Now the lap traffic might play a factor as Zachary Peterson in the 96, member still in the older set of tires. He's right here on the bottom lane, and Tatum, almost into the back bumper. The 96 right in the way on the exit of the corner, and that is going to be pretty much seal the deal here with 3 laps to go. Sherwood now just needs to be mistake-free because it's opened up the gap to a sizable margin.
Yeah, the gap now 1.2 as Tatum got into the back of Peterson. Peterson on those old tires held the bottom line, and I think Tatum might have thought he was going to go to the apron there, but now damage to the front end of that 11 machine. That, like you said, Zach, I think that's going to seal it for the 2 of Robert Sherwood.
Yeah, I think that is going to be the chance here is Sherwood here, the number 2 machine coming out of turn number 4. We're getting word that I didn't even notice it's his birthday today, so it's looking to be another birthday winner here on Freaky Fast. We've seen it at the Wicked Racing League, maybe here at the Full Send Racing League, as he's going to come out of turn number 4, look up to the flag stand for the final possible time, and it's going to be the Freaky Fast white flag. 1 lap here to go, 1 mile here at Rockingham for Robert Sherwood.
And it's just navigate these last 4 corners as best you can. Don't get into the outside wall out of turn number 2. Does a really good job there. Coming down the back straightaway into 3 and 4, just got to navigate the bumps. Don't overdrive the car. And be smooth coming off of turn number 4, and he's going to collect his first win of the season.
That he is. Out of turn 4, it's Robert Sherwood, winner here tonight at Rockingham. First victory of the season for him, and going to lock himself into the playoffs. It's going to be a big, big celebration for that too, because it's on his birthday. And I tell you what, that victory is going to be special, with Ross Tatum taking home 2nd and Cameron Sarton taking home 3rd.
What a drive there from Rob Sherwood there. I mean, he has shown speed all season long, just had such bad luck. Finally getting his first win of the season and locking himself into the playoffs. I'm sure this is, and on his birthday, I'm sure he's going to be excited when we talk to him later on.
That it will be. Robert Sherwood here. Great run for that 2 machine. Made the call to get aggressive from the 2nd spot on pit road. Came down a little bit earlier, got the track position. The caution came out right timing for him, and he held on from there and got the lead. Never looked back. The 2's going to burn it down here and celebrate on the front straightaway. But as he burns it down, we're going to go and find our top 3 drivers and have a quick chat with them. We'll be back in a few moments here, folks. You ain't going to miss a thing for our post-race interviews. And we are back here, folks, as we got our post-race show here at the Full Send Racing Series. And man, what a race we had here tonight at Rockingham as we got our third place driver, Cameron, starting up here. Let's have a chat with him about his run here tonight at the Rock. Hey, Cameron, it's Zach and Trevor up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, got y'all.
Hey, man, well, I tell you what, tough race out there tonight, second in that stage, and then getting a little bit of damage there through the green flag sequence of runs. Man, take us through it. That damage seemed to really hurt the 24.
Yeah, I was in all honesty, I was surprised I had speed to begin with. This is a track that I've never been good at, never been confident at, don't like it. So to come home third, I'm very, very happy. Feels like a win, but I'm also a little furious. I just tried to, when we came out of those green flag pit stops, I saw Ross pit at a lap earlier than I did. So I thought about going a few more, but thought about getting on the same strategy as him. And I went a little soft on the pit road camp behind him, and I had a chance in the 3 and 4 there to pass him. And it just plowed right in the wall, and it killed it. I had 30 seconds to repair, so it's unfortunate, but, you did it to yourself. But coming on podium, I can't complain too much. I'm pretty happy and led some laps, so we'll take it.
Yeah, Cameron, I mean, you look good when you were out front there. Got kind of in that dirty air, like you said, behind Tatum, got into the wall, got that damage. But hey, next week, heading to Mid-Ohio, you were the winner at the Roval, heading to the road course next week. So, I mean, got to have some confidence going into next week, especially, walking out here with the top 3.
Oh yeah, for sure. I actually got by Mid-Ohio, so I've never raced there yet. But I guess I'm a big road course fan now. I tend to do pretty well there, and are at the front. So, like I said, run early at the Roval, and we'll try and make it a little sweep on the road course. So should be fun. I like running the new track, especially on the road. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun one to see, Cameron. Well, I tell you what, man, congrats on third here tonight. Before we let you get out here, anybody wants to send a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to mom, dad, grandparents watching. Ken for the sponsorship at Campbell Racing on YouTube. Go check him out. Great guy, other than unfortunately he's got a bad Auburn football team to watch this year. Shout out to Lap Traffic Podcast, y'all up in the booth, as always, put on the show, and congrats to Rob as well. So deserved win. I believe it's his first of the a full send. So good to see kind of the new guys win and earn it the right way. So we'll see y'all next week, and hopefully we can make it the second win of the season.
We'll have to see, my friend, man. Well, I'll tell you what, congrats on third, and we'll catch you next week in Mid-Ohio.
Yes, sir. We'll see you, Zach.
All right, everybody. That was your third place driver here tonight. Cameron starting in the 24, heading to Mid-Ohio. Definitely looking forward to that night. We're going to move on to second place. It's the 11 machine. Ross Tatum, 2 wins already this season. Came up just short of a third. Let's hear what his thoughts are leaving Rockingham. Hey, Ross, it's Zach and Trevor up here in the booth. You got a copy?
What's up, guys?
Hey, man. Well, I tell you what, you came into the picture there in about the last, personally, like the last 50 to 60 laps of that race, and the 11 really started to show up, man. I mean, take us through it, because that one just seemed to get away there at the end. Unfortunately, some traffic there holding you up just a little bit, man. But still, just what a good race you had there, making your way through that field.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm not a fan of Rockingham, but that was a good race. Everyone ran really well tonight. So I didn't really practice. So I used the first 100 laps to just kind of figure out where I wanted to run, save some tires, and just try to get a good pace. And I really wanted that thing to go green because I think the pit strategy would have worked out for me. And then Cameron kind of ran into the wall right behind me, and I think I would have gotten to Robbie there at the end. But yeah, there at the end after the caution flag, I tried to run him down. Even with the lap traffic right there, I wasn't going to catch him, man. We were running 2 completely different lines tonight, and we were running the same speed on long run. So he did a great job, and so congratulations to Robbie.
Yeah, Ross, you mentioned the different lines that you can run around here. I mean, with those different lines, how hard was it to make a pass out there?
Yeah, it was like the first 15 to 20 laps of a run, you just could not make a pass to save your life. It was something else. So luckily, the strategy I was doing with saving tires, I could just kind of ride around and let the people come back to me. But man, it was tough those first 15 to 20 laps, just watching people drive away and just hoping that it'd turn around. And it eventually did. About 30 laps, I could start making passes, but it was still tough even then.
Yeah, it definitely looked tough out there tonight, Ross. But I tell you, a great run, man. Coming all the way down to the end there, getting that second position. But next week we head off to Mid Ohio, some road course racing. How you feel about heading into there?
I feel awful about that. I'm gonna be bad. I don't think I've ever ran a lap there, so I'll probably have to put in some practice this week. Not looking forward to it, but hopefully I can get like a top 5. It'll be good.
Well, Ross, I tell you what, man, we'll have to see how that plays out for you next week. But before we let you get out of here for your second place finish, anybody wants to send a shout out to?
Appreciate it, guys. I got to thank Coca-Cola and Sprite for paying my bills. Got to thank my teammates, Chris Wade and Will Bustler, especially Will Bustler. He paints all my schemes. He does an awesome job. Probably have to ask him to paint me some new schemes here soon. I've been running this one all season. But anyone who needs a paint scheme, reach out to him. He'll hook you up. I got to thank Freaky Fast, man. You guys are the best. I literally watch every race that comes on that you guys broadcast. So anybody out there who needs a broadcaster, make sure y'all reach out to Freaky Fast. Got to thank just everyone in the league, Travis Start, all these guys that put on the league. This is such a fun league to race in. And then big shout out to Robbie Sherwood, birthday, winner. He just did it all today. So congratulations to him.
Definitely great to hear, man. And Ross, thank you for the kind words, man. You have a great night, and we'll catch you at Mid Ohio.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, folks. That was your second place driver and second place man coming into the points here tonight. But a big celebration is about to happen. It's Robert Sherwood. He is not only a race winner here tonight, but it's on his birthday. And this is something interesting. This is now the second time this has happened in really the past couple weeks here at Freaky Fast. It happened on a Wednesday night a few weekends ago with Nigel Christensen. Now Robert Sherwood comes in here as his birthday and gets the victory here at Rockingham. Let's hear how excited this two's going to be. Hey, Robert, it's Zach and Trevor in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Got a copy.
Well, man, I tell you what, hard fought battle tonight, but you are the winner, my friend. And also on your birthday, describe the emotion because, man, it's got to feel great.
Fun night. Touring this. Shout out to my Braves clinching the NL East tonight. So had a heck of a night. Great day with the family. So can't ask for a better birthday.
Rob, I mean, it's been such a roller coaster of a season for you. You've shown speed pretty much every week. Just had, bad luck. Last week finally had a good result. This week, getting the win, locking yourself into the playoffs. I mean, it's got to feel like a huge relief for you.
Oh, it's massive. I think there for a few weeks I was just pressing so hard just because, like you said, I felt like we had head speed and then just nothing to show for it. So I think last week, even though it was P9, it was kind of a quiet night that I needed. I was really in a good mood after the race, which had not happened the past few weeks before that, especially with the Bristol incident. Um, Getting wrecked at Charlotte. I felt like there was just some frustrating moments where there was nothing to show for it. So I think last week was exactly what we needed. And then I'm not gonna lie, we were not the fastest car out there tonight. I felt like the 24 had great speed, the 11 had great speed, the 42 had great speed before his incident. The 94 did. I think there was a bunch of cars that had winnable cars out there, but we got lucky with that caution with about 40 to go, just because my plan had been to short pit. Or to split the stage, I'm sorry, and then we ended up short pitting by about 10 laps. So those guys that had waited, they were catching us pretty quick, so that caution came at a perfect time.
Yeah, it definitely did, Robert. I tell you what, man, this is a huge victory for you, especially heading into the next couple weeks here of the regular season. Like Trevor said, you're locked into the playoffs now for sure. You got Mid Ohio, Atlanta, Martinsville, and Talladega coming up. Do you feel like this win here can open up maybe some strategy opportunities for you to go for another victory in this final part of the regular season?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously your goal at road courses is, you got a few guys out there that are traditionally your ringers, and you just want to maximize your result. I feel pretty good about Martinsville. That's one place I've always run well. Talladega, we'll see. Super speedways, anything can happen. But the main thing is, like you said, it does open up some opportunities the next few weeks to get off strategy, be aggressive, do some different things, and not have to worry about it as much.
Well, it's definitely going to be fun to see, man. Congrats on the win here tonight, and also happy birthday to you. But before we let you get out of here and go celebrate this thing, anybody want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to my wife for putting up with this nonsense that I do on a weekly basis, especially when I'm in a bad mood. Shout out to my teammates tonight. You know, we were fortunate we had the 96 help us on the restart as well as with about 10 laps to go. You know, he kind of asked what line I preferred and just tried to work with me the best he could. So I appreciate that. 94 of Altus. Josh gave me a ton of encouragement tonight. So appreciate them. And then thank you guys as always, Zach. It was much easier to win when you don't have the 5 car glued to the racetrack out there. So that's always a good thing. And thank you to Travis for doing this every week. And also shout out to the sponsor of the race this week, Ken Campbell and Campbell Racing on YouTube, new subscribers. So yeah, thank you guys as always. And hopefully I'll be back here soon talking to you.
Awesome stuff, Robert, man. Congrats on the win, man. Go cherish this one. And once again, happy birthday, buddy, and you have a great night.
Appreciate it, guys. You do the same.
All right, folks, you heard it there from tonight's winner, Robert Sherwood. Great run for that 2 machine to get this victory. And I think, like Trevor brought up, folks, this one has been one that I think that's been coming. He's shown a lot of speed. It's just been a lot of bad luck that's come back to bite this season. And man, it's going to end up coming all back around here on his birthday tonight in that 2 machine to get the victory. So congrats once again to him. But we're going to look to pull up our final unofficial results here tonight for Rockingham, as it's been a crazy 160 laps with Robert Sherwood bringing home that victory. Ross Tatum coming home second. Third is going to go to Cameron Sarton. Fourth is going to be Andrew Medlin. Fifth is going to be Brandon Pierce with a great rebound. They get back to the top 5. Sixth is going to go to Joshua Altice. Seventh is going to be to Aaron Hill. Eighth is going to be Chris Stitz. Ninth is going to be the Stage 1 winner, Cole Sacchetti. And rounding out our freaky fast top 10 is going to be John Dart. But as we look through the rest of the field, Trevor, definitely some tough nights for a few drivers, but man, some drivers leaving the night with some big confidence.
Yeah, some drivers with really good runs. I mean, Medlin up from where he started in 17th, got a really good run in top 5. John Dart, I mean, started 20th, got himself a top 10 here tonight. Cole Sacchetti with a great recovery after his incident after the stage break. But then you got to go look, down the field. Bo Tiffany, who typically has speed, got himself a top 15 after his contact. Christopher Wade was in that first wreck down there in 16th. And Zachary Peterson showed speed there early in the race, but with that pit strategy and not getting that late race caution is going to be all the way down there in 19th. But Zach, it was a really good. We had long green flag runs, had that caution there late that changed things up. I mean, it was a good race tonight.
That it was. It was a fantastic one, man. Rockingham, you heard a lot of drivers talk about in their interviews. Not their favorite track for them drivers, but they seem to have a good time racing. I think that's what Rockingham is. It's a tough challenge, so I think some drivers come here, maybe even a little bit fearing what could happen here. But, I think tonight they came out of it and they're saying, man, that was actually a pretty good time. And I think maybe next time they'll have a little bit better taste in their mouth coming back around here. But Trevor, before we leave Rockingham and head on over to Mid-Ohio, any final thoughts here from the Rockingham Speedway?
Great race. We talked about how difficult, it was going to be for drivers to stay out of the wall, cold tires. Didn't see a lot of cautions tonight, a couple incidents with the cold tires, but, overall great clean racing from these guys as they do every week. And, next week, the road course in Mid-Ohio, we had a great finish at our first road course at the Roval, and looking forward to Mid-Ohio, and hopefully we can get the same kind of results there next week.
That it will be. It's going to be a fun time. You ain't going to want to miss out here next Tuesday. As always, here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting it live, always at 9:20 Eastern here at the Full Sin Racing Series. And it was a pleasure to call it here tonight. I can't wait to get back out there on track with these guys next week in Mid-Ohio. It should be a good time, and have Sam Dyer back up here. So thank you all for letting me, first of all, go up here and join y'all here tonight in the booth. It was a pleasure to call all the action. But if you haven't yet, make sure you go check out the rest of our leagues here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting out there. We have so many great nights here of great racing. Tomorrow night, we start off the road course racing that we'll see here on Tuesday next week at Sonoma with the Wicked Racing League. It's going to be fantastic. Then we head to the Stars and Stripes Cup Series where they start their playoffs. So playoffs start to kick off there. Saturday night, we'll have the WSSR Cup Series kicking off the end of their regular season, heading into their playoffs. So everything coming back into line. Then we start back next week on Mondays with ISRC Truck Series, and then back here again, Full Sin Racing on Tuesday nights. It's going to be so fun to get all this playoff action kicked off here in October, and it's going to be a wild month, folks. So thank you all for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to call all the action from myself, Zach Hall, Trevor Earhart up in the booth with me, and Robert Moyer Jr. Thank you all for tuning in here tonight. We love you all. Stay freaky fast.